Natasha Rostova is the most natural character in the novel. I can call her natural because she is connected with Dame Nature. She admires earthly life. She can see beauty in many things. She can often feel happiness and joy. Life is a miracle to her. In Volume 2, Natasha Rostova is spontaneous, and this trait of hers fascinates other people. But at the same time, it frightens me because it has something destructive in itself, and we will see then how her spontaneity is able to destroy her life. Prince Andrew Bolkonsky fell in love with Natasha's spontaneity, in her profound delight in earthly life, the things that he himself lacks. Natasha loves other people because these people love her. She loves herself. She admires herself. It is wonderful how clever I am and how charming she is. She went on speaking of herself in the third person and imagining it was some very wise man, the wisest and best of men, who was saying it of her. There is everything in her, continued this man. She is unusually intelligent, charming, and then she is pretty, uncommonly pretty and agile. She swims and rides splendidly, and her voice, one can really say it is a wonderful voice. She adores everything which is related to Russian. Customs and traditions, cuisine, hunting, music. She can dance in a traditional Russian manner, though she was not taught to do it. Where, how, and when had this young countess, educated by an émigré French governess, imbibed from the Russian air she breathed that spirit, and obtained that manner which the pas de châle would, one would have supposed, long ago have effaced? What was passing in that receptive childlike soul that so eagerly caught and assimilated all the diverse impressions of life? How did they all find place in her? Prince Andrew Bolkonsky proposes to Natasha. She becomes his fiancée. Her feeling to Andrew Bolkonsky is vague. The only thing that she knows about her feeling she tells her brother Nicholas. How shall I put it? I was in love with Boris, with my teacher, with Denisov, but this is quite different. I feel at peace and settled. I know that no better man than he exists, and I am calm and contented now, not at all as before. The wedding is postponed for a year, and Natasha, being very impatient, can't wait. She can't do anything. She doesn't do anything, but tortures herself and people around her. Mama, I want him. Why should I be wasted like this? Mama, Mama, she muttered, give him to me, give him, Mama, quickly, quickly. And she again had difficulty in repressing her sobs. Besides, when she meets Princess Mary Bolkonskaya, her fiancé's sister, she feels that Princess and Nikolai Andreevich Bolkonsky, her fiancé's father, don't like her. Natasha feels insulted by their attitude. The letters that she gets from Andrei Bolkonsky make her angry because she thinks he is quite contented with the situation. She desperately needs his physical presence. At the theater, Natasha Rostova meets Prince Anatol Kuragin. She sees his admiration for her and she tries to impress him. As soon as they begin to communicate, Natasha feels that there are not any barriers between her and Anatol Kuragin. Maybe because Kuragin sees only an attractive woman and an attractive female in her. His shamelessness is so natural that it doesn't seem unpleasant, disgusting. His shamelessness confuses Natasha and deprives her willpower, but her vanity is satisfied. As she is a passionate, emotional, and lively person, as she adores to be the center of attention, as she feels lonely without her fiancé, as she is an innocent girl without understanding other people's intentions, Natasha becomes an easy target for Anatol Kuragin's courtship. She was tormented by the insoluble question whether she loved Anatol or Prince Andrew. She loved Prince Andrew. She remembered distinctly how deeply she loved him. But also she loved Anatol, of that there was no doubt. Else how could all this have happened, thought she, if after that I could return his smile when saying goodbye? If I was able to let it come to that, it means that I loved him from the first. It means that he is kind, noble and splendid, and I could not help loving him. What am I to do if I love him and the other one too? She asked herself, unable to find an answer to these terrible questions. Natasha calls the feelings she experiences for Kuragin love. She is not aware that her feelings for Prince Andrew are generated by all the very best in her: respect for her parents, her family, religious values, moral rules. And she doesn't know, she isn't aware that her passion for Anatol Kuragin is generated by her vanity, her impatience, loneliness, thirst for love, and nothing more. A woman can't love a mean, ignoble man. So to love him, to justify her love for him, she has to endow him with noble traits which he really doesn't have. Natasha gets morally disorientated. She only felt herself again completely borne away into this strange, senseless world, so remote from her old world, a world in which it was impossible to know what was good or bad, reasonable or senseless. Her passion makes her mad and powerless. She says to Sonia about Anatoly, "As soon as I saw him, I felt he was my master and I his slave, and that I couldn't help loving him. Yes, his slave. Whatever he orders, I shall do. I told you that I have no will." Thanks to Sonia, that guardian angel of the Rostovs, Natasha is locked in her house, and the elopement fails. Pierre Bezukhov tells Natasha that Anatol is married. Natasha is in despair because of Anatol's meanness and her betrayal of Prince Andrew Bolkonsky. Society knows about the story between her and Anatol Kuragin. God punished Natasha's vanity severely. She lost her fiancé. She lost her position in society. She lost the possibility to marry a noble man because of her fall. But that sad story did one very important thing to Natasha. Her ego was humiliated. Her vanity was destroyed. She could not sing. As soon as she began to laugh or tried to sing by herself, tears choked her. Tears of remorse, tears at the recollection of those pure times which could never return, tears of vexation that she should so uselessly have ruined her young life, which might have been so happy. It comforted her to reflect that she was not better, as she had formerly imagined, but worse, much worse than anybody else in the world. But this was not enough. She knew that, and asked herself, what next? But there was nothing to come. There was no joy in life, yet life was passing.